Hello, I'm Belkis Perez. Today on Coral Gables Now, the risks of falling victim to identity theft are closer to home than you think. Find out how to protect yourself. The city saves thousands of dollars by rebuilding instead of replacing this vessel. Plus, Gables restaurants put their best plate forward for Restaurant Week. And we'll show you a few ways you can honor that special father in your life. Those stories and much more. Coral Gables Now starts right now. Welcome to Coral Gables Now. I'm Belkis Perez. Today we start with information on a growing problem affecting millions and millions of people across the country. Identity theft continues to increase, and in fact, conservative figures show about 9 million people were victimized each year for the past several years. And those are conservative numbers, but the numbers could be as high as 15 million people a year. CPA Gary Opper of Levy Opper LLC is here to offer some much needed advice. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Belkis.
So let's tell people first what identity theft is, because apparently there are different types and forms of identity theft.
Identity theft can take many different forms. Basically, identity theft is when somebody acquires some personal information and they use it either to acquire goods that from a third party they steal from, or they steal from you. And the way they steal from you is they can steal cash out of your bank account. They can steal a refund. If you're entitled to an IRS refund, there's a way for a criminal to get the information and get a refund. Or maybe even create a refund for you, create a refund and receive it. But they acquire the information and then they use it somehow illegally. They can acquire goods, or they can use it to acquire a new identity. I mean, there's been cases where people have acquired an identity, and again, when you acquire it, you don't know if the people have good credit, bad credit, if they have a record, and people have been stopped. And when the credits run, when it's run by the police officer comes back and there might be a warrant for the person's arrest. So then all of a sudden they pull out their real driver's license, and now they're obviously arrested for where the crime was, and they're also arrested for impersonating someone else. But in many cases, not in many, but I've read at least in 4 cases that I've seen recently where people have been stopped. One was there was an outstanding murder warrant. Somebody had somebody's credit that had marijuana charges against them. So you as a criminal, you really don't know what you're acquiring when you're acquiring it.
So what are the most common forms of ID theft? I know that for me it's been credit card. Someone's just stolen, I guess, the number, and for many of the people here in the studio as well. But what do you think is the most common? Well,
there's really, there's a lot of different types of credit card, different types of theft, but the 3 most common is we talked about credit card theft, ATM theft, you're getting your PIN number and obviously taking money out of your account, and the third is internet crimes. And with your ATM machine, what they can do is they'll be able to go to an ATM machine, and you want to be very aware of your situation. What they'll do is there'll be somebody watching, and when you punch in the number, they'll be able to see the numbers. So what you want to do is you want to hunch over it so that you're protecting your number from being seen from the outside world. You also want to look around and see, is there a camera there that shouldn't be there? Now obviously there's usually a camera there that's put there by the ATM machine, but you want to make sure there's not a camera from somewhere else looking over your shoulder, so to speak. And also what these perpetrators can do is they can put a thin film on top of the keypad, and as you're punching in your numbers, it's registering with the numbers you're punching in. You also have to remember that most ATM machines are not owned by the bank. They're owned by private companies, which hopefully the banks have done their due diligence and we're dealing with honest people, whatever. But your best bet is to use an ATM machine at a bank, or an ATM machine that is on the bank premises or whatever. And the third thing is internet scams, and that's basically somebody will send you, it's phishing. Somebody will send you an email, and they'll ask you for personal information. Most companies don't ask you for personal information. In the past week, I just was keeping track. I've received information from Bank of America, which I do have a loan with. I've received information from Chase, which I don't have a loan with. I've received information from MasterCard, reported to be these companies, GoDaddy, and PayPal's. Well, none of them will send you an email asking for personal information. So I just know that they're wrong, and I just delete them because I know that I don't have any issues with my account at these places. but you need to be careful. And you can always, what you do, instead of answering them, you can always go to their website and send them an email from their website and ask them if they have an issue, have a question for you or not.
And is there a certain segment of the population that would be more at risk for these types of scams?
Well, the people at risk are people that don't have a healthy amount of skepticism, people that might be a little bit naive, and people that are too trusting. One of the things that happens is when you're on vacation, for instance, you're in a more relaxed situation. You're feeling, you're giving attributes to people that they may not have because they're not on vacation. So when you're out on vacation and you're having a good time and you might be a little free with giving out information or whatever, the criminals are out there and they're looking for people that are a little bit naive, a little bit have let their guard down. Some of the segments, obviously young people may not necessarily know the dangers of all these things because they're getting bombarded by credit card applications or whatever. The older people may be a little more trusting, may not, they may have not be as aware of how big this crime is out there, which hopefully we're getting out.